I got a lesson today.
Oh, okay. Those are always good.
No, they're not good.
Well, we learn from you.
And I learned from making mistakes. That deal up in Chicago fell apart.
I remember you. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago. Now it was on a Wednesday. I checked on you about that hurricane.
Yeah, yeah. And that deal fell apart. And it turns out once you do an assignment, you assign away your legal rights as well.
Oh, come on.
That seller refused to lift a finger. There was a required statute by the city that the property's in that they have to do an inspection, and she refused to do the inspection unless I paid for her last 3 months mortgage payments. And I know everybody, but yeah, hang on a second. I contacted this many law firms.
Oh, wow.
Not a single one would take the case. You know why?
No.
Even if they won, they couldn't be guaranteed they'd get paid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you sign a real estate contract, it ain't the worth the paper it's printed on. And then the other problem was because I finally hounded one guy to who said he would do it, and then over the weekend I sent my assignment to him, and he said that once I do an assignment on a contract, I sign away my legal rights.
But you didn't assign it yet.
No, I did assign it.
Oh, you did assign that.
I assigned it to lock in my buyer. And my buyer sent an EMD. I mean, the good news is it's a $3,000 non-refundable EMD.
No.
It's a little on the low side for a wholesale deal, but I took it anyway. But so anyway, I'll get that $3,000 back. Now check this out. You know how we put that language in there that says that no matter what happens, I don't need the authorization of the seller or anybody else to get my EMD back. The title company is saying they're going to require signatures from the seller. Like, okay, so you're just going to go around my contract? My contract doesn't mean anything to it? Nope.
Well, I've got one that I can shoot over to you that I've been using.
No, I got the same language.
Yeah, but it's the seller signing it.
Oh, it doesn't. I put it in the contract so you don't have a separate piece of paper.
Ah.
But even if there was a separate
but he signed it. So he signed it.
Even if there was a separate piece of paper, they're still going to go, nope, we're going to get the seller to sign. Which will be the last time I use this title company, which I've used previously.
And is this on your Macon property?
No, this is on my Chicago property. And by the way, hello. I'm so glad that you're on the call.
Hello.
But yeah, that Chicago deal fell apart, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh.
And yeah, I contacted like 14 different law firms, and all of them told me, we don't care. We just go after big corporations.
Wow.
These are people that advertise that they're real estate contract, that they specialize in breach of real estate contracts.
Wow.
But yeah, if it's a single family house, not enough money in it for them.
The money is not there, right? There's no deep pockets.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though when I worked at Aon and Marsh, those are the world's largest brokers. They hire 80,000 people to broke for them. And they'll tell you, they'll say, we give in a lot because we have very deep pockets. So we don't want to go to court, because if we go to court, we'll be paying 10 times more.
I even told them that the seller was a realtor and this falls under her E&O insurance. no, they don't care.
Oh, wow.
So needless to say, I've got to take a look at remember I told you guys that use my contract because I'm always adding stuff to it when I screw shit up?
Yeah.
Guess what I'll be doing is I'll be reevaluating it and putting something in there in my assignment agreement that says I do not give up my rights. Now, the good news is because this was a subject to deal in my assignment agreement, I put in stipulations like you got to make the payments. If you don't make the payments, that the property automatically transfers back to me.
Right.
One attorney that I actually did speak to about 2 hours ago said if you would have taken that out, the buyer would still, once that buyer signs that assignment, they owe you that assignment fee, whether the property closes or not.
Oh, wow.
Something I learned too. So I might put that language in there to make it clear that I get my assignment fee whether you close this or not.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I learned is because when you do an assignment and you assign your rights away, I was doing everything I could to get this property to close. The seller would, we had title problems and the seller wouldn't lift a finger. She was just terrible.
The realtor, right, on this one. This is the one with the realtor. She's the seller's the realtor.
It took me 2 weeks to get a key so my buyers could walk through it.
Yeah.
And she refused to schedule this inspection, which, by the way, I want to let you know that I spoke to the head of the inspection department for the city and said, I've never seen any seller push back this hard on not getting a city statute required inspection. And she's like, okay. And I said, you might want to flag this one because there's got to be a reason that she is pushing back so hard to get this thing to close without the city inspection.
Right.
And it can't be something you can see because I had 2 different buyers walk through the property and neither one of them said anything. They're like, oh yeah, it looks pretty turnkey.
Mm.
But yeah, so.
What year was this house? Was it a 1920s?
No. Like 1975 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. No, not an old house.
It's a green refrigerators and pink walls.
No, it was completely remodeled. It was a turnkey deal.
Wow.
It was a turnkey deal, I've never, and I've been doing this a long time. Like I've said before, I've worked with crackheads, and this woman is by far the worst.
Mm.
She just was arrogant. But she was given the title commitment on June 23rd. I signed the contract on June 2nd. On June 23rd, she was given the title commitment. And that's, in the part, where it has the requirements, the line that says the Calumet City inspection is required was highlighted. And then we went through the whole tax lien thing. And something I learned, and I only learned this 2 hours ago, once you assign a deal, it's really up to the buyer. If the seller's going to be a pain in the ass, it's a buyer's problem. In trying to be a servant, I worked too hard to close this deal.
Yeah.
And then and you guys know, Pace Morby's TCs blamed me for everything to where the buyer wouldn't even answer my phone or text anymore. Yeah.
So she ghosted you, or he ghosted you.
Yeah, the buyer ghosted me because of the transaction coordinator he hired. Who got on the phone with me and said, I demand to speak directly to the seller. I'm like, that ain't the way it works. And she said, well, that's the way I do it. And I said, well, that's not the way we're going to do this one. We're going to put all funds and all paperwork through the title company. And she didn't want to do that, and then told me I was rude and didn't like the way I talked about her company, even though every single document they sent me was wrong. Right? Yeah. And then my buyer disappeared. Then he stopped returning my phone calls and texting me and all that stuff. So I learned that when I assign a deal, you just got to be hands off. And hey, you got problems with closing? Buyer, you deal with it.
Right.
I try to be a servant. I try to do everything I can to make deals happen. But unfortunately, in this litigious world, you can't. Once and we're all wholesalers. So once you assign a deal, it's the buyer's problem.
Yeah.
But the good news is once that buyer signs, he now owes you the money, whether it closes or not.
So that's good.
I know. I know. I don't think that I've never heard anybody who is a wholesale guru actually explain that.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think they know either.
Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. If you've done as many transactions,
Look at it this way, right? If they know, then they want to share it with you because they want you to know how much they know and how good they are at this and how you can benefit from their knowledge, because that's what at the end of the day you pay them for, and then you'll get more people in for them.
you would think that was the way it works. But in my experience, gurus teach about 60% of what you need to know. And I'm not singling out any one. I mean, I've bought lots of online courses and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm not just talking about real estate. I'm talking about online marketing and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that, when I lose one, I lost one. It would have been nice to have that $19,000 check. But unfortunately, I have to reevaluate, when I'm wholesaling a deal, that once that assignment is done, me as a wholesaler, I'm done. I'm just waiting for my check.
Yeah.
Any problems? Not, seller calls you up and said, "Hey, I got to deal with you." No, I signed my contract. You deal with the buyer.
Yeah. So what do you have working with Farah?
Well, Farah, would you like to tell them?
Yeah, so there's a property in Lakeland. It's a multi-unit
No,
apartment.
not that.
Then which one?
Olivia,
Oh, Olivia.
this is big. Forget the deal. This is even bigger.
So we got a VA out of Egypt. She's really nice. She has a degree in mass media communication.
Well,
She's been doing this. What?
She has half a degree in mass media communication.
Yeah. She's been doing this for 3 years now almost. So she has experience as an acquisitions manager. And she's going to work for us for 5 hours for me and 5 hours for Mike, and hopefully get us 4 hours for you. Okay. And hopefully get us some deals.
Tell these guys how it works.
So we give her the deal leads, she comps them, she calls them, she negotiates with them, and she puts them under contract. So
Boom.
the whole acquisitions part is done. We don't have to worry about it.
Boom.
Wow.
And
That
I
is
sent her
amazing.
Jamil's comping thing. We're sitting together. I'm sitting with her sometime this week, in the later in the evening, to go over that, to make sure she understands that. And I told her, I said, if you have more time on your hands, you can look. I'm going to give you access to these sites, and you should be able to look for properties for me too. And she said, I can do that as well.
Yep. And
so the whole system, the whole acquisitions she's doing, and I'm getting this for $6 an hour with no profit sharing.
And
Wow.
the thing about it was, because Farah had talked to me, talked to us about this a month ago. She gave me the information. I called the people, and I was telling them that Farah, referred me, and they said, well, and then the guy that we've been working with, Andre, actually said that Olivia's only going to be working for Farah for 5 hours a day. He said, how would you like to take the next 4 hours? I said, absolutely. So that way.
And I have bigger news than that. Because I referred you, I get a credit every week of $45.
I know
so
that.
If you refer somebody, you can get a credit for $45. And the more people you refer, every person you get it for $45. Andre told me, he said, you refer enough people, you'll be doing this for free from your end.
That's right.
So that's huge, because I save a lot of money.
And I spoke to Olivia. She's great.
Yeah, she's nice.
We did a Zoom call. But the thing is, I thought it was great for you and I to partner up because you're going to train her and I'm going to train her. And then you and I are
Yeah.
going to share notes. We're going to make her, I told her, I said, we're going to make you a killer.
Yeah, I told her that too, and she's excited. She's very nice, and she's very, like, you know, when you listen to her voice, it's got a sweetness to it that if somebody picks up the phone, they'll want to listen to her. She doesn't have that, hello, I want to, you know, this. It's very sweet, very calm voice.
And I'm telling you, fellas, she's from Cairo, Egypt, educated in Cairo, Egypt, and she sounds like she's from Nebraska.
Oh, wow, that's great.
There is
That
no
is amazing.
There's no accent whatsoever.
So
And
you'll
her
be in
father
charge
is
of,
a journalist, so she knows how to write and she knows how to write out the script and everything.
so all you guys are responsible for is the disposition.
You got it.
Yes. So if any of you want a referral, let us know.
Yeah, if you want a referral, let us know. But I'm telling you what, for $6 an hour, that's cheaper than you can get a Filipino, and those people are freaking lazy.
Yeah.
I've been through lots and lots and lots of them, and I'm done with the Philippines. As a matter of fact, in trying to get a hold of Farrah's company, I actually mistakenly scheduled a call with another company out of the Philippines, and they told me that their cold callers, they actually require them to have 2 internet connections because the internet is so unreliable in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yeah, even when she said they were in the Philippines, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm done with your country. And she's like, well, can you just hear a pitch? And I'm like, sure.
And they give you the dialer
that
too,
is-
so you don't have to get your own dialer if you don't want to. And if you have a dialer, they'll use yours.
Yeah. What dialer are you using?
I just told them to use their own because that's what she's comfortable with. I paid
Yeah.
$30 a week for it.
$30 a week.
Yeah.
So that comes out to be about as much as batch dialer.
Yeah, 120.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. So I think I pay $139 for batch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's
And,
using.
you know, if you're comfortable, she'll use batch. She told me she knows how to use quite a few of the dialers.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I
what-
just don't have one. So for me to go out and get one didn't make sense when she, you know, she can use the one she's comfortable on.
right. And what's interesting is on my schedule of cities to go after that are pad split cities. Which, by the way, did you guys see last week that they opened up Kansas City?
No.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't see that on your list. I haven't, I need to go into your, put it in here right now.
Yeah, pad split opened up Kansas City, but I went in and I did pre foreclosures for Columbus, Ohio, Nashville, and Dallas,
Oh, nice.
and that's who she's going to start calling.
Yeah.
I've got my agent list in there, and I'm going to turn around to how to call agents. Hey, call up the
Yeah,
agent.
she told me because I told her, I said, my privy is not working right. Like when I go into privy and I do a filter and I do a search with the requirements like DOM of 90 days, 100 days, $250,000 max price. When I put in all those requirements, I get 0 all the time, no matter what I put in. So I call, so there's a glitch in privy and a lot of people are experiencing that, but they don't know when it's going to be, corrected. So I don't want to use privy. I told them, I said, I don't want you guys. They said, no, don't worry about it. Till this is going on and you can't use it, we'll give you a refund for everything once it's resolved. We are keeping track of that.
The thing that Privy does that nobody else does, if they've got MLS access, they'll give you the before and after pictures.
Yeah.
But other than that, PropStream is better. Or not
So,
PropWire. PropWire is better.
yeah,
PropWire is better and less expensive.
So PropWire is free.
I'm talking about skip tracing. Skip tracing is 10 cents.
Yeah, skip tracing.
When you do it
So
through.
for skip tracing, I have this guy, he charges me 4 cents.
Huh, there you go.
So I got 2,000 skip traced. I paid $134.
Yeah.
And he's good. He came to me through the RAIN group. That's the Women in Real Estate Investing, Teresa Todd and Kelton Todd. I don't know if you know the Todds.
Yeah.
But he came to me through them, and a lot of people there were like, he's good. Like his numbers are really correct. We get a lot of deals out of him. So I said, let me try him.
Okay, who is it and what do you do?
He does skip tracing. He does only does my skip tracing at 4 cents a lead, 4 cents a number.
Who is it? Do they have a website or is it a phone number?
No, he's on Fiverr.
Okay.
I can give you his phone number. I have his phone number. I'll send it to you.
Okay. I mean, you know.
I mean, 4 cents a lead is not bad.
Well, it's 60% less than what I'm paying now through Proper.
Exactly.
I'll try anything once.
So yeah, so I use him for skip tracing, and he does my skip tracing, and then the leads go straight to Olivia.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah,
It's like a weight lifted off my shoulder, because for me the cold calling was the hardest. Not that I can't do it, I just didn't have the time.
and the thing is, like an hour before this call, I was over at my warehouse filling orders for my marine business.
Right.
So what ends up happening is I get pulled in different directions, and the thing that suffers the most is cold calling.
Cold calling, yeah.
So, like I said, even with the Chicago deal, that's where I was going to take that assignment fee and I was going to hire somebody. Even with that deal falling apart, I'm like, screw it, I'm hiring a dialer.
Yeah. And
Just
if
so,
you just want cold calling and you want to do the acquisitions, they have that too for $6. But you need to provide 10,000 leads for that.
they do acquisition. They'll call and build a cash.
No, they'll do cold calling, and they'll send you the warm leads. They'll schedule the appointments and they'll send you the leads. So you have to set up like a Calendly, and they'll, set up the appointment and send you the lead. And then they have the acquisitions manager, which is Olivia, who does the calls, does the comping, does the negotiating, does everything.
But they have somebody that'll actually build a cash buyers list.
No.
What are
They'll do cold calling. They'll do cold calling for leads.
Oh, right.
Like you give them leads and they'll cold call.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we can ask Andre if they do that, because they do a lot of things. So maybe they will build a cash buyer list. Because this is what Andre told me. He said, Olivia is your VA. You have her for so many hours. If you don't have the number of leads and or you want her to do something else, she'll do that for you. Just show her.
Wow. Because I think the next thing to add is somebody who's proficient at follow-up.
Yeah.
So Olivia generates a lead, and then we have somebody who's just enjoys the chase.
Yeah, but if Olivia does that for me and closes the contract, sends me the contract, here's the contract, go sell the house, I'll be a happy camper.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing about it is not that I can't do it. It's just I get pulled in so many directions. That's what suffers. And
I'm comfortable cold calling. I just don't have the time. I mean, 9 to 5, I'm sitting on my desk working.
Yeah.
And 12 ones are coming up for insurance renewals. So it's a busy time.
Yeah.
12 1, 7 1, 8
yeah.
1.
So if anybody else wants to try her out. I mean, we'll let you know how it goes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, I see Carol out there. What are you doing, Carol?
Well, Farah didn't finish yet. She was going to tell us about Lakeland.
Oh, let's go back to Farah.
So Lakeland is a multi-unit property with owner financing. I did, there it is. I did reach out to the realtor, the broker, and I spoke to him, and he's going to try and send me what I'm looking for. He said, give me a couple of days. I'm going to have to pull all the information I have to see what I can send you. So he's gonna, giving him a couple of days. I'll follow up with him again on Wednesday, hoping to get all the information. Plus, I spoke to him about taking second position for the $1 million that the owner's financing.
Okay.
And he said he's going to talk to the owner and get back to me.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be the full $1 million.
But here's the thing. I got another guy through another group I am on. His name is Deshaun. And he told me that even if he has to take a second position, because that's over half of it is owner financing, he has a private money lender who will be comfortable with that.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
So what she's doing, all right, this is the financial statement in the purchase package that the realtor puts together. And this column, right? this column right here, it says T12 2022. What that means is trailing 12 months of accounting. But what they did is they summarized it. So what I had Fair do is go back to the realtor and say, we want to see the previous 12 months, month by month by month by month by month, not sum total. Because when they sum total up, they can hide a lot of stuff in different months.
Oh, and I emailed him. He wanted it in email so he can have a written trail. And I told him I want 12 months, but if you can send me past 3 years, that will be better because I can get financing much faster.
Exactly. And then once we get that, that allows us to do our due diligence. But then once we get the property, we put the property under contract, then we ask for the past 3 months IRS filings. See, because people will have their bookkeeper fudge the numbers, but they will not lie to the IRS.
Yeah. No, I've had people who have lied to the IRS too.
They won't do that for a long time. Let's put it that way.
I have a friend of mine, now they moved back to India, but they would keep showing the IRS that they have no income. They went on CHIP, which is the government children's insurance for medical insurance. They did all that. And then they went out and they bought a house for $750,000 with a huge down payment. So the government came to them and said, where did you get the money? That's when they sold and they ran back to India.
Is that your country of origin or heritage?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm hybrid.
Oh.
So my mom is from Pakistan. So I was born in Pakistan. My dad is Indian. So I grew up in India.
So you're like northern India, huh?
No, I grew up in Bombay,
Oh.
Mumbai.
Oh. Nice.
So, yeah.
So anyway, that's the deal that we've been talking about.
So that's the deal, but it's a good deal. Keep your fingers crossed, guys.
But bottom line, guys, if this seller will put that million in a second position, every commercial bank on the planet will give us a first.
Yeah.
Because it's
And
only 800,000.
He's giving us $1 million for 6%. I told him, I said, we want $1 million for 6% through the life of the loan. And he said he's going to talk to the owner.
Yeah.
To the seller.
And again, what's it come down to? Motivation. How bad does this guy want to get rid of it?
Yeah.
But yeah, we could put this together.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for.
And because you've got a seller who's like, yeah, I'll take $1 million in second position. Normally, a commercial bank wants to see 20% down. So
Right.
they would do like a 1.5 loan, and then you got to, and then you got to come up with the other 300,000.
Right. Which isn't that bad.
Or, they'll give you 1.6 and then, and then you got to come up with 400 grand. Well,
Right.
you got somebody's going to do $1 million for 1.8. Now the bank is in, they're in it, what? 40%?
Yeah.
They're going to do that all day long.
So yeah, I'm hoping to hear back from him and not have to run after him, but I guess I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah. And yeah.
So I will. And there was another property in San Antonio, Florida, which I never knew existed. But I'm going to say it was too funny because I'm looking at San Antonio, I'm looking at Florida, and then I'm going to the map and I'm like, did they give me the right address? But
I would
I'll
look
let
up-
that go because that's too rural. Like it
Yeah.
has less than 5,000 people population.
Yeah. I know we looked it up, but I forgot where it was.
It's a suburb of Tampa, between like Tampa and the Clearwater, kind of like that South Tampa side. If you Google it, it says it's a suburb of Tampa. First I read Clearwater, but then when I went back, it was Tampa.
It's about 40 minutes north of Tampa.
Yeah, so they're calling it the suburb of Tampa. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah. Let's put it this way: San Antonio, Florida is as far away from Tampa as Lakeland is.
Right.
I've got a friend that lives in Dade City, and trust me, they got summer teeth up there.
Yeah. So
Some are
that's why
here,
I let it go
some are here,
because it
some
was
are there.
980,000. The price wasn't bad, 980. But if you're not gonna be able to rent it out with no employers, no major employers in the marketplace, nothing.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. I go up to Dade City frequently and there's a lot of single wides up there.
Okay,
I'm not talking about nice single wides.
okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit too far away from civilization to be able to turn that
To
quick,
have it rented out, yeah,
or even turn it quickly.
yeah. So that's why I let it go. I was like, yeah, that's not the one.
You got anything else?
Oh,
I held off on calling you today because I knew we would talk tonight.
yeah,
Because I'm really excited about Olivia and us.
me
partnering up.
too. Me too, me too.
So
I was like, okay, Olivia, go.
Well, that sounds great. Now all y'all need to do is give us your buy box, so we can start looking for buyers over here
Yeah.
yeah,
or wherever it is that you guys are looking to disposition.
Mine is just 1,500 square feet. Those are the houses I look for with absentee buyers or and high equity. Because I realized one thing, absentee buyers sell the fastest right now because they don't want their property falling more with nothing to do because they're not there, it's sitting empty or vacant, or there's somebody who's troubling them. Those are the best time. So I do absentee buyers and high equity.
and for me, I've got the agent list where I just told her to call up and do you have a house that needs work or is outdated? And if they say
Yeah.
no, hang up the phone, call them, dial the next one. Then the list that I put together, like I said, are pre-foreclosures. Obviously, those are sub 2 deals, but they're sub 2 deals in pad split cities.
Did y'all see Pace's new thing? He's put out a new training program for not creative financing, not real estate investing, but it's pertaining to real estate, but it's something very different. And it's the hottest, apparently, according to him, is the hottest thing going. And you can make a lot of money with it. It popped up on my Facebook this morning.
Hey, what's that? Oh, it's right over here. My shiny new thing. Buy my shiny new thing. Don't do what's made me millions. Buy my shiny new thing.
Yep.
Telling you guys, the gurus who we all know and love, they're just selling information. That's all they're doing.
That's all they do.
That's all they're doing. And if you want to waste your money on that stuff, I've done it myself, but I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was just curious to see who's heard about it so far.
Nope, don't need the greatest thing since sliced bread. Already got my bread sliced.
No, he's trying to teach people about buying businesses and all this stuff now. So,
Oh, he's about buying businesses. What
Yes.
business?
Or
What business does he recommend?
squirrel, gotta go.
well, here's what he's doing. And I understand what you guys are trying to do as far as investors and entrepreneurs. After you buy so much real estate, you want to buy businesses because even if you play that game Rat Race, they do the same thing. You want to acquire businesses so that you can get passive income.
The game he's talking about, kids, is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yep.
Which, by the way, would be fun to play if we're ever in the same city.
You can play online.
Yeah, but the thing is that what business? So look, when I look at a business, I was looking at coin laundries, but those are hard to come by.
This is a
Right.
business.
I mean, apartment buildings is on the list, but I was also thinking about car wash, not in New Jersey. It wouldn't run in New Jersey, but places like Florida, Arizona, Nevada, a car wash, you buy it with land, so you're getting prime land, which is an asset, and you're doing nothing and making a lot of money on it.
Then that's not on my list. I mean, the businesses I look for.
Right.
But car washes, you can find car washes that are defunct In other words, the owner just let it go and it doesn't run it anymore. I'm not talking about the automated one. I'm talking one where you drive in and you use the wand thing.
Oh, you watch them? No, I'm talking all automated. I don't want to be standing there watching cars.
Well, you're not. It's self-serve.
No, I mean, I know, but you know what? Guess what? Sometime you're gonna have to go there and monitor these people washing cars.
Well, when you buy a automated place, you got to go there and manage people too.
Why? It's automated.
Okay, when you find that deal, send it to me, would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm not. Maybe you're seeing something I'm not. But when
I mean, I figured you'd have to go there, but it would be to add like the chemicals and the pumps and get a cleaning person to come and clean it up once a week and get the money that's in there.
okay, we're talking about the same type of place.
Yeah, but
The
no,
one where
that,
you drive in, they get out of the car, put the coins in, do the wand thing.
Yeah.
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 yeah, but you don't have to do all that anymore. When you're the business owner, you have management do all that. You go by there and look at the property and make sure everything's running correctly. Make sure besides the business or the money side on paper, everything's
Right.
looking kosher live. But also what you want to do is go and acquire another 2 or 3 properties in that area, investments, real estate investments while you're out there that day. That's it. That's what
True.
you're doing.
True.
Okay.
And I think Pace is probably trying to capitalize on the Cody Sanchez thing.
Who Sanchez thing?
Cody Sanchez. She's the online guru for buying businesses, boring businesses,
Okay.
contrarian
Well,
thinking.
now there's a new thing come up. Buy a business using AI. And I'm like, of course we would use an AI. Why wouldn't we use AI?
Trust me, people, lots of shiny new things.
So
But I'm telling you what, billionaires will be made in the next 4 years.
yeah.
Because trust me when I tell you, real estate ain't getting better. I published an article last Wednesday or Thursday that mortgage applications are at a 30-year low.
Yeah, they're lower than they were at the 2009 to 2015 time period.
The last time mortgage applications were this low was the early 90s. I was in college.
And the interest rate was in double digits, mind you.
And it ain't going to get better anytime soon.
And yet the house prices are not falling, so interest rate's gonna go back up.
The reason,
Because-
and that's why if you look at the different cities that I track, this month they started adding in actual inventory. Every single market that I've been tracking is significantly, I'm like talking about like 1,000 houses below the 7-year median.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, and the reason why is people are they're staying in their houses because who's going to trade in a 3%, 3.5% mortgage for an 8% mortgage?
Or 8% of a mortgage, right? They'll get less house.
Now, that being said, if you screw that up and you've got a time problem like pre-foreclosure, or you got a probate deal where they can't afford that extra payment, that's where subject to deals make a ton of sense because you're buying those properties, you're getting those properties at those I'll take anything less than 6% because a brand new mortgage is over 7%.
Right. So here's my question. When you're doing a sub-2 deal, how much of a down payment do you have to put?
It's not when it comes to, all right. So when you're saying sub-2 deal, are you talking about a pre-foreclosure?
Yeah, pre-foreclosure or, maybe the owner wants to make some money, get a monthly payment on it. So he's keeping it and doing owner financing partially.
Joe turned me on to a website that's all owner finance deals.
Oh, wow.
And the minimum down is like 25,000. I've seen as high as 50 and 60,000.
That's not bad. What, can you share the site?
Joe can.
Oh, I had to go look for it.
Yeah. And he'll share it afterwards. But moral of the story is, keep in mind, those are not motivated sellers.
Okay.
All right. And, I've got the note right here. Mr. Morby teaches put a maximum of 10% down.
Oh,
10%
wow.
purchase price.
Okay.
So that being said, I've kind of lowered my expectations.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, for 3 weeks or so, you know, when you heard me putting out offers every day, I was putting them out at, you know, basically 100% financing, or, you know, I'll take over the loan and I'll pay you your equity over time. And I
Okay.
wasn't getting a lot of response. So what I did is I actually changed and said, I'll put down $10,000. And I started getting more interest from the buyers. They were saying no, but instead of just flat out no.
Okay.
So, you know, I think that 10% number is a good rule of thumb, because and that's for people that are not motivated. Okay.
Okay.
With pre-foreclosure, you're putting up whatever the arrears are.
Okay.
And I always say to them, you know, hey, do you need moving money? And you might give them $5,000 moving money, but that's it.
Right. Right.
$5,000 moving money, and then whatever the arrears are. That's the amount of money, the cash you got to come up with.
Okay.
And the ARV to them is irrelevant, because
Right.
if they don't take your offer and it goes to foreclosure, you know, the sheriff's sale, they get nothing.
Right.
They get to have the sheriff show up and say, you got 15 minutes to get out. So when you say, you know, how much should you put down on a subject to deal? It depends on the motivation level.
Okay.
Pre-foreclosure, where they're going to lose it, they're highly motivated. People that, you know, just want to get rid of it and get a monthly payment, not so much motivated.
Okay.
So
And
like,
you're going to send
like
me the website for the to own with the owner.
yeah,
Right.
I can send you the email that I get every day.
Okay.
Can I interject on that? Because I've been trying to get Mike to do some of my sub two deals, but now I understand how to soft vet it a little bit easier. We had a agreement where the lady wanted $65,000. 65,000. And he's like, no, he didn't say no, but he's used profanity, but he's like, no, it's not gonna happen. And I didn't understand. But what you have to understand is when you're trying to get this house subject to, you have to ask them what they want, what needs to be fixed, how long is it going to be, what kind of maintenance needs to be on it for the next 2 months, so that when it sits, you know, you're also, you know, having that backup too. You need that cushion, and go from there if it makes sense. Because if it doesn't make sense, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Yep.
So they can
Okay.
hope and dream whatever they want, but if it doesn't make sense to your pocketbook, to your bottom line, it's not going to work. And I'm trying to get it so that I can understand the soft betting, so I can take it to somebody that knows what they're doing, like a Mike or a Ron LeGrand, or, you know, a Pace Morby, and I don't look like an idiot and wasting their time. So you have
Right.
to actually find out, you know, these little soft things is like, is the AC good? Is the roof good? Is the water heater good? Is the plumbing good?
But that you check on every house, right? I mean, I asked that question for every house.
Yeah, but then you got to also factor in the maintenance on it. You got to keep pest control, land care, landscaping, for the next couple, you know, soft vet it for the next 2 months, because it might be sitting when you're trying to get somebody into that property. And then how much do they want?
So here's my question. When you do a sub two, you can't wholesale it and you cannot
Sure you
fix
can.
and flip it.
Sure you
You
can.
can?
Sure you can. I just
Oh.
tried to do one in Chicago, and it would have worked fine if I didn't have an idiot seller.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Got a screaming deal, put it out, got a buyer, said I'll take out, I said, you know, give me my assignment fee, you take over the payments on this thing. You're in $150,000 for like 29 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's because the seller wanted 16.5 at close.
Okay.
I put my 19.5 on top of that, you know, basically like 29 something. But yeah, he was all for it. I mean, so he's in it for 130,000. The property would have appraised for 150,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have to go out and get a mortgage.
Okay.
So he's in the deal for 30,000, doesn't have to deal with a bank.
Yeah.
And if the whole deal goes south, he doesn't own the mortgage.
Wow, okay.
But that's the risk that subject to sellers take.
Okay.
And you have to also consider that it has to rent more than what you're making the mortgage payment for. Because if all those factors factor in, if you are not making any money off of the rent after you subject to it, then it's not a deal.
Right.
In this particular deal, the sellers, I went back and looked at the original notes. They were retired landlords. And as I went through it, they bought this house, they rehabbed it, they got it super cheap, and then they refied it. And then they put a renter in there, and the renter only stayed for like 6 months. And then they didn't have a renter in there. And they lived up in Chicago, so the property was a 3-hour round trip for them. And when my first buyer went through, went over to take a look at it, my seller wouldn't put a key in so nobody could look at it. But she actually took pictures of the back, and the grass was 5 feet tall.
Oh, wow, okay.
So this one had tired or inexperienced or just stupid landlord written all over it.
Right.
But she just, again, turned out to be a nightmare. But behind on taxes, when we saw the tall grass, we knew there'd be code violations. The garage door was messed up, the driveway was messed up, But she was the one that suggested doing a subject to deal. I'm like, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can wholesale subject to deals.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, and bottom line is you got to have a buyer that understands sub to them.
Okay.
And by the way, when you try to put in when you try to get them to agree to, they have to make payments to a third-party servicer. And if they don't make the payment, that the deed automatically comes back to you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They're going to fight tooth and nail not to be held accountable.
Okay.
And what I learned is I need to have that on a separate agreement for my assignment.
If I ever come across a sub-2 deal, I will knock on your door.
Or a sub to deal that you want to wholesale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would wholesale it. I wouldn't keep it.
As I was telling Joe when you guys were just coming on, I learned a lesson today. So my paperwork's going to change.
Yeah.
Because I learned a lesson, something that's never happened to me before happened. I've never had a seller refuse to close.
That's strange. Sellers usually want to close.
Oh, trust me, everybody that's looked at this like just shakes their head like this. Yeah.
And that's just a strange one.
Yeah.
We can chalk it up to a mic problem.
The thing about it is the two women that are the closing agents on this. The seller called them up and started screaming at him because she's like, "Oh, you got to do, clear title. We got to have this, this, and this." And she was screaming at him and hang up the phone.
Wow.
And then call back like a day later just to be as sweet as pie. It's like, okay, you're off the road. But I've never had a seller not close.
Oh, okay.
Or fight the closing.
Yeah.
So shit happens. Move on.
Yep.
Anyway, Dennis, did you have anything else? I don't think you can hear me anymore.
Yes.
Oh,
sorry. I was trying to look at a deal while we were doing this. It's starting to become like the 80s. That's all I can say with this. I mean, I'm looking at it. I was a young kid, but I noticed the rent to owns. That's just what this market's going to be. It's going to be back until like 1989, 1988, high interest rates. After Carter, Reagan's there, Bush is starting to come in, and that's just how it was. It's going to be like that for a little while. Buckle down.
Yeah.
That's just how
And
it
is
is.
that a good thing or a bad thing? That is like
It's a good thing. It's still, they made money. There were still investors there, plenty.
Let me look at this. Back in 2008, Grant Cardone was worth $50 million.
Yeah.
Today's worth $4.5 million.
Billion or million?
Billion.
Excuse me, 4.5 billion. Sorry, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
With a
And
B.
then,
With a B.
you know, Ron LeGrand was starting, he started in 82 doing this stuff. So
Oh, you
yeah,
look-
it was good.
You looked
It
up
was
Robin
good.
Hood.
Oh yeah, I've been looking up a lot of people. I've gotten hold of another I don't want to say mogul, and I don't want to ever say mentor in here anymore. I want to say coach, because they're not teachers, they're coaches. They will help you, but they will not help you hand to hand, like one on one. So yeah, they're trying to do whatever they can, but you know, I've met a couple other ones, and that's what they're doing. It's just wholesaling and trying to get the pad split, you know, just like what Mike's doing.
Right,
Hey.
right.
Can I share something with you, seeing how he brought up the idea of looking up some of the OG people that actually started doing this way back in the day?
Yeah.
I was going to show you guys last week Monday, but it was a holiday, obviously. But I set it aside. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The VHS tape from Carlton Sheets.
Oh, I
Oh,
have
wow.
those. I have the DVDs in my storage unit.
I used to watch this on
DVDs, baby.
TV and go, is he real or is he not?
He's real.
DVDs, baby.
Yep, I have all the CDs.
The funny thing is with that, back in the day, it was, I don't want to say this because I don't want this to sound like I'm trying to point people out, but it was a reserve colony. Let's just put it that way, because I was going to say good old boy mentality. You can't get in. You can't get into our clique. It is now starting to become a little bit more easier to come in. You
Right,
still
right.
have things that you just do not know because they don't want to share that information. They'll give you one-liners. But it is starting to evolve more into, like, you know, we're letting the secrets out. We're letting the secrets out. And it's making it more easy. It was hard with Carlton Cheese because nobody wanted to help me. Nobody. Like, nope,
Nobody.
nobody.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, this
What do you
is
mean nobody wanted it?
Nobody wanted to help you.
Oh, no,
Nobody
no, no.
wanted to help you get into that. It's like, remember having to market back in the 90s? You had to go door to door. Now
or
you don't have
letters.
anything.
It was all letters.
Letters.
But this right here. This is DVD that started my real estate career way back in the 90s. Like
Wow.
96.
Yep. And people back then, when I was trying to get into it, they're like, and I had my father-in-law was a millionaire. He's like, I don't mess with that. That's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Everybody, don't do that. And I was just like, okay. Now I'm like, you know what? Middle finger to the sky. I'm gonna try whatever I can.
But I went
gonna
from those DVDs to buying everything that Ron LeGrand ever put out.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
I got them all right over there in my library.
Ron LeGrand.
never heard
Ron
of it.
LeGrand. I never heard of him. Oh yeah.
All right, boys and girls.
You've heard of Pace Morby, right?
Yes.
That's who Pace learned that from.
Ah,
The red course. This is wholesaling.
okay.
This is Ron
You have
LeGrand wholesaling course.
You have to remember, Pace Morby was a wholesaler for home investors. Then he went with Chris Iman with Jamil, and then they split off, and then they went with Brent Daniels. And then Brent Daniels, Brent Daniels. He just still does his thing. And they do their own thing, but they market more. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But all of them, the Ron LeGrands,
I mean,
except
I was
Chris.
on one of Jamil's calls when he had, what's his face? The guy who has the show, Fix and Flip, Flip Flop, Fix and Flop.
Jesse
Tarek
Rodriguez.
Musa. Tarek Musa.
Okay. Yeah.
And Tarek said that, oh yes, I go with real estate agents to get my deals. But then he said he spends over $300,000 on marketing,
Yes.
finding leads and marketing.
Direct to seller is going to cost you $2,000 a month.
He
starting out.
spends $300,000. And I'm like, if you have the real estate agent and they're so great, like Jamil says, why are you spending $300,000 again? Doesn't make sense.
Because they are getting deals sent to them, just like what you're going to get done right now with that VA.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. You're not, it's costing you money. It's not free. You're having to pay this VA and you're having to pay to get, skip tracing 4 cents.
Right.
It's awesome. That's a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, you have to put in money in order to get money. This is not going to be free.
No,
See,
I
like I said-
understand that, but then he came on Jamil's call to talk about how great it is to deal with real estate agents and you don't need anything else. If we don't need anything else, why are you spending $300,000?
Because he's not telling the whole truth.
Well,
So then
who's-
don't come there and lie, because guess what? You just became a liar.
Yeah. I would say that too.
Unless he thinks everybody he's talking to is stupid and won't catch on.
No, it's not that. It's like they have to sell themselves. It's just like, remember back in the day, like in the 1600s, someone got on a soapbox and started to express the snake oils and this and that. They would have to promote themselves. And this is them promoting themselves. Yes, you can do deals wholesaling with agents free, but it is a lot easier to get to your end goal, which is cashing a HUD check with direct marketing. Direct marketing for me, for you, for Joe would probably cost us $2,000. I don't know what Mike pays, but direct marketing works because you're getting
Right.
people sending you deals instead of you hunting for deals.
No, I agree that it works, but don't tell me that that's all you need with you spending that much money on direct market, or say,
Yeah,
you know
they're-
what, you need to balance it out.
Yeah, they're fibbers. I will say that.
See, here's the thing. For the guys that are spending money on Google ads and stuff like that, when somebody's in financial trouble, they're going to go to Google, like, how do I sell my house? And then all those ads pop up. But it is extremely competitive. I mean,
Right.
those guys are paying like $250 a click.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
Get a deal, you make a check for 20 grand and you spend 10 grand to get it, it works.
Right.
Uh,
See, here's my question. How many of you have used Carrot?
I don't even know what that is.
So Carrot is a they build you your website and they'll do your whole online marketing for you. They have their words that they've already got and they'll do your website and they help you manage it, or they'll give you the SEO words and they'll help you with the SEO and everything on your website. And it's specially only geared for real estate agents. They have blogs that you can buy, like I'll send a blog to because the more blogs you have or the more words you have or whatever it is, your site comes on to
Hey guys,
a small higher number of pages, like number 1, 2.
I've been paying for ClickFunnels $297 a month for 5 years. And I just found system.
Check out Carrot, every guys, and then let me know what you'll all think about it, what your opinions are.
I just found system.io for $29 a month, and AI will build your complete sales funnel.
Oh, for how much?
$29.
And they'll set up like the website and everything for you?
AI does it.
You'll have
Yeah,
to
I mean,
show me how to do that. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, you're going, but there's AI and keep in mind, ChatGPT just came out like November 15th, 2022. It
And
is
it's the most
a year
used-
old yet.
It's the most used site.
It has the most users in the history of all the websites on the internet since they invented the internet.
And you said System.io, right? You went to?
System SYSTEME.io. I'll send you a link.
SYSTEMEIO.
Don't worry about it. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
All right. But bottom line is AI will build everything for you. So I am going to get rid of ClickFunnels as quick as I can. So $297 a month for something that's clunky to, something that, I just put in my prompts and it builds everything with images and the whole 9 yards.
And that's like, it will build the website and do the SEO and everything. Wow, it's going to put Carrot out of business.
AI is changing the world.
Yeah, Gallagher, I'm an insurance company and we've got our own AI. They're like, this is Gallagher's AI, guys. And I told my mom, I said, guess what? Layoffs are coming. Because now they're not going to need 20 people to sit and do their research for them anymore.
And like I
They're
said,
not going to need 20 people putting a proposal together.
ChatGPT is not yet a year old. And I've actually heard people say that like by year number 2 and year number 3, you'll get a sales call and you'll be talking to a computer.
Oh, yeah.
And you
There's
will
a
not
guy
be able
who
to tell
does
the
that.
difference.
He doesn't do it on IO, but he does it with chatbots. He'll create your own customized chatbot for you. And you can tell him what you want and he'll set it up, and he has different programs, like either you pay him to do the whole thing or you do it 50-50, or you can do it on your own. So he has 3 programs that you can use to do that. But he'll create a Facebook chatbot and Instagram chatbot for you, and they will get you warm leads because the chatbot will have a whole conversation with these people and tell you exactly what you need to know before you call them. And they can even set up an appointment for you.
Like everything else, ChatGPT is the first major threat to Google. Don't be surprised if Google's not the dominant player 2 years from now.
Well, Google's coming out with its own AI.
There you go.
Google's
have an
coming out
AI.
with their own AI. Bing has already got its AI. Google has it, but they're not very comfortable for using it because they want it to be safer and more secure with people's information. Bing is using it, ChatGPT. I mean, everybody has. Apple's coming up with their own AI.
They have to.
Everybody's coming up with their own AI thing. I'm telling you, Gallagher has it, and we're a damn insurance company.
Well, here's how I learned about ChatGPT through Mike and this guy named Jesse that works with Brent Daniels. So you see wholesale hotline, you see the paces and all that. I don't sit in there anymore. I sit in that guy's room because he does all the computer stuff. He's a computer whiz. ChatGPT is not before Google. Google had Beard. It's BEARD.
Yes.
They have their own. You can use that and use God mode as well to help facilitate your deals to make them a little bit easier. They will not give you, ChatGPT will not give you what you should pay for a house. It won't do that yet. It won't.
No,
I've
they
tried
won't.
it.
They'll
will
tell
not.
you that we cannot pull that information for you, blah, blah, blah. They'll
Yes.
give you a whole disclaimer to it.
Yeah, you've already done it.
Because I have a friend of mine who's actually doing a prompt engineering free webinar on AI. So it's like, and then he's doing a boot camp for AI to learn how to create your own app for AI to do whatever you want to do. But that the boot camp is paid, the webinar is free. But I'm thinking of going for the webinar to just see and get a feel of what it is about.
Just don't get lost in shiny new thing.
No, this isn't one of those.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is there's so many plugins for ChatGPT now. It's kind of like the thing about Google is you can't just, go into Google and get them to give you the data and then you create your own apps. All right. ChatGPT is kind of like Apple is. Apple is just a phone, but the thing that makes it great is everybody in the world can build an app for it. And that's what ChatGPT is doing. If you got ChatGPT 4, you can download these plugins, and that's
I have 4.
yeah, but you can download the plugins, and that's
Oh, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, there's plugins for ChatGPT.
What?
I should know.
Mm-hmm.
You have to share that. I didn't know that either. But this is what I wanted to say. There was
Okay.
2 things I wanted to say. As far as artificial intelligence, I was using that game Rat Race because it's on computer now. You don't have to pay for it, so don't pay for it, guys. If you guys want to play, we can always play. Call.
Yep.
But it is an automated system. If you look and play the game, you will be able to get out of the rat race and get into investment status where you're buying businesses if you just continue to do it with baby steps. Okay, not big steps. You take big steps, you're gonna bankrupt yourself in the game. It's the same way. It's an automated system. The second thing I wanted to say was I've had some new investors they wanted help and also out there trying to get you to pay for their their apartment because they're getting evicted. So be mindful. Be mindful of being too nice to people, because when you give them an inch, they will go a mile, and they'll ask you for money. Kind of weird. So that's all I got. Deals that I got out this week was probably 13. I didn't get any today. I've just been looking. I'm coming across some agents though that are they won't send me the assignment, and they won't send me the CMAs like I was talking to Joe about in disclosure, because they want me to walk the property in Atlanta. So it's kind of weird. So I'm just like, whatever.
Right, right.
So what do you do about that, Michael, when that happens?
Call somebody that'll walk through the property for you.
Okay.
And if you put it into the Astro group and nobody will respond, like, you know, the Macon deal, nobody, I guess there's nobody in Macon. What you can do is call a vendor, call like a landscaper, somebody mows grass. Hey, if you go over and take a look at this property, I'll give you $50.
Okay.
Call a plumber, call an electrician, but you know, start with a landscaper, you know, but just start calling people in the area and like, hey, you know, I'm here in Phoenix. I'm looking at this deal over at such and such address in Atlanta. I'll give you $50 if you go over there and take some pictures for me.
Hey, I have another question with Privy. I can't find the APNs on those. The only ones I can find them on is with PropWire.
I don't think Privy does it.
Okay. And they don't sometimes give the agent's name and stuff too. So I thought that was kind of weird.
But if you
well, that all depends on.
If you go to PropWire will have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's that third party stuff or public, you know, I can't remember what the other one. Privy won't show that because it's not available.
Privy is not as widespread as Benson claims.
It's not.
Well, it is, but those properties, for some reason, they go into third party or public.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't remember.
He can pull that information if it's plugged into the MLS, but I think the majority of his data comes from third party.
Yeah.
And the third party data sucks. So that's why when I can't find the name of the agent on Privy, I put it in the PropWire, and magically PropWire has it. And the reason why is I figured out that PropWire is pulling its data from Zillow.
Yeah, and sometimes now Zillow hasn't had agents' numbers on there.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like today, they stopped putting the numbers on there.
Well, you got to understand something. Inventory is
Low.
at like a frig. The last time the inventory's been, the data doesn't go back far enough to see when the last time this inventory was this low. I mean, that's saying something.
So you think Zillow's letting people go? They let their agents go?
Oh, they let their agents go 2 years ago.
What
Zillow had a $2 billion write-down 2 years ago.
Yeah. What Brent Daniels said to me when Jamil said, well, I can't talk to you because I go get my haircut. This is what Brent Daniels said to me. He said, and this is what he said. I said, man, this is hard, man. You know, I need to probably go direct to seller because I'm not getting anything through the MLS with these agents. He goes, that's why there's 4,000 Astros and there's 4,000 agents losing their jobs. I said, what? He goes, yeah. 4,000 agents are leaving Arizona.
Do you guys remember, I think it was like a month and a half ago or so, I talked to a broker in San Diego, and he said that in San Diego, there were 2,000 transactions in the month. So what was that? June. There were 2,000 real estate transactions in San Diego County. That's where San Diego is. He said, how many realtors do you think are in San Diego County? I said, I don't know. How many? He like 15,000 realtors. So if there's 2,000 transactions, that means the seller, just rounding, you know, this isn't accurate, but close. So if you got a house, that means the seller got a commission and the buyer's agent got a commission. 2,000 times 2 is only 4,000 people out of 15,000 realtors. So that means 11,000 realtors didn't take home a paycheck. And this is the exact same thing that happened back in 2009 and 10 is these realtors starved to death. And 60% of them gave up their licenses. Now you only renew your license every 2 years. So the people that quit, you won't know about it for another year and a half.
Yeah, the problem is two things. As a realtor, I'm not gonna badmouth realtors because this is not the place to say this, but they don't comp very well as far as with investors. They just don't.
Nope.
They rely too much on the MLS. The second thing that I've noticed is that there are less realtors because they're part-timers, just like I'm a part-timer doing investment. Mike is a full-timer doing investment. I haven't quit my job because I have to get a paycheck. I got to pay the bills. But Mike has made this his day-to-day job. This is his job and his career.
But keep in mind, I own 3 other businesses.
And you own 3 other businesses now.
And like I said, the reason why Farrah and I teamed up so I could get a full-time cold caller or somebody that's going to cold call 4 hours a day, every day, is because I get distracted. I get pulled in different directions and I can't make cold calls consistently.
And what agents are doing is this. Agents are probably getting their stuff and still doing their regular job and or probably Ubering.
And the thing about it, guys, even in a hot market, here in Florida, statistically, 80% of the deals are done by 20% of the realtors. And it's the same everywhere. Now, that being said, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, the real realtors that know what they're doing are the only ones you're going to be talking to because everybody else will be gone. Because there's just not enough deals for them to get paid. Well, on the flip side, you've got, 4,000 Astro students. Pace has got 92,000 Subject 2 students. God knows how many students Brett Daniels has. And they're all searching for deals too. And that's why, you always hear me saying, don't go after Atlanta, go after everything around Atlanta, 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. Don't go after Alexis, don't go after Dallas, go outside of Dallas, 45 minutes outside of Dallas. Because that's where the deals are, because you have less competition because, the people that have been doing this less than 10 years do not know what a down market looks like. Jamil knows what a down market looks like.
So what does a down market look like? I know what it looks like, but explain what we're going to start to see as far as investments. Are we going to start seeing better returns on trying to get deals? Is it going to be more scarce? Is it going to make you feel like, oh, this is just like, this ain't getting me nowhere? Or are we going to feel like there's more opportunities because you're able to see them now with a magnifying glass versus your regular site?
This is the definition of a market cycle. All right. There are 4 cycles to any market. Real estate is just one of them. And basically what it is last year in November, right here is where we were. That was the peak. This is what we've been doing for the last 10 years. This real estate market is the biggest real estate bubble in the history of bubbles. And what ended up happening is we had a small pullback, and now the market's going sideways. All right. That's called the denial phase. Sellers still think they can get full price, all cash offers. Inexperienced realtors who've been living through this, where they got a listing, they put it up, and 24 hours later, they were fielding 6 different offers, all cash, higher than list.
Okay.
What's happening now is
But in New Jersey, they're still getting multiple offers. In New Jersey, they're still getting asking price and more.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing about it is, what's happening is the market is moving sideways. But like I said,
Mm.
when you look at the background data, inventory is super, super low. So there's not a lot of houses. But mortgage applications are at a 30-year low. It's even worse than 2008. What will eventually happen is all those demographics will
Right.
catch up with the market. And once that happens, once the avalanche starts, you're going to see 30%, 40% drop in home values across the board. It'll be different in some markets, but the COVID transition of people moving from New York to Florida and Ohio to Florida and Ohio to Texas, that's done. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to see the crash, and then it'll stay like this for 4 or 5 years, and then we'll start the cycle all over again.
But
That's awesome.
everybody's moving, a lot of people are moving back to New York because employers are like, you have to come in 4 days a week. You go into New York and it's worse than it was pre-pandemic because now you have all the people who came here during the pandemic and the people who left during the pandemic are back.
Not necessarily. Ken McElroy, he has the most doors as far as what I know. I don't know what Mike knows as far as rentals or multifamily. He has the most doors that I know of.
I don't.
He says it's a ghost town in commercial real estate right now. You can buy whatever you want because there's nobody in there. But they are trying to
Commercial
make
real
it,
estate, yes, but it's coming back.
it's going to come back.
It's coming back because I go into the city every week and I see so many shops that were empty are now the work is starting to happen in them.
Yes, and that's a good thing. That means our economy is being stimulated regardless of who's in office in your jurisdiction or nationally. That
Oh
means
my
that we
God.
are working that means we are working together. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing because we've got Sleepyhead over there. We've got Sleepy in there.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
not
falling
do
down-
the
falling
let's
down
not
the
do the
stairs.
politics here. I agree with you 100%, but let's not do the politics.
Yeah, but I think that it's a good thing for it stimulates our economy. It's going to take it's like, well, I know that Mike knows this. It's like using an old 1984 lawnmower, man. You got to pull on the string a couple times. It's not going to just all of a sudden wind up like this brand new one, like this brand new
Keep in mind, guys, the crash is coming. All right, I don't know how long this capitulation or this denial phase is going to last, but when it goes, it goes. And I have talked to see, I got caught up in the last crash, and it took me 5 years to dig myself out of that. But I know I've got realtor friends that were like, you could pick up 2 or 3 subject houses a week. Just go up to them and knock on the door and talk to the sellers because they had no options. There were no buyers. There were no realtors. And they were picking up, I mean, subject to, you could get as many as you wanted. Those days are coming. And
Okay.
and the thing about it is all these syndications and all these REITs that went out and bought these commercial, apartment complex and commercial deals, and when syndications go out, their mortgages get refinanced every 5 years. Well, when your debt service works at a 3 to 3.5% mortgage, and all of a sudden the bank comes back and goes, oh, by the way, now it's 9. Your debt service just tripled. Now, did the income triple overnight? No.
Yeah.
And what's it going to end up with a lot of syndications is they're just going to hand the keys back to the bank. Bank can absorb one of those deals. You got a $200 million, 300 unit apartment complex, and one of the operators goes out of business. The bank will swallow one of those. They swallow 2. Now the bank's in trouble. And that's what you listen to what Grant Cardone says. You owe the bank $50 million. Their financial problems are your problems. You owe the bank $500 million. Now your financial problems are their financial problems. And let's not get into the politics of it. Donald Trump said the same thing. When he got caught up in all that, all his stuff, if you read The Art of the Deal and then The Art of the Comeback, the thing that separated him out is when he got in trouble, he called the bank, and he was the first one to call the bank, and they did everything they could to help him out. everybody else who tried to deny it and deny it and deny it until it was too late. Now they had 10, 15 different developers calling all at the same time. The bank couldn't swallow any of them. So moral of the story is when you got financial problems, let your banker know immediately.
Well, I don't see.
Because they'll work with you until they've got an avalanche they can't deal with.
Well, how does it work with multifamily and syndications when if you have 85% in your apartment complex renting still, you're still making money. But if it goes to 60, you're screwed.
Right. But it's not necessarily the cash flow. What I'm talking about is the bank forces them, they only get mortgages for 5 years.
Yeah.
And the bank forces them to refi the mortgage, and they base their P&L and their cash flow on a 3.5% mortgage. Now the bank says, oh, we're only giving commercial mortgages at 9%. So now their debt service triples. And like I said, their income didn't triple.
It's kind of like the back in the day with the arms, kind of like going like
Exactly.
that, right?
And by the way, who's already got hurt by this? Jamil lost $1 million last time. Last time I listened to one of his podcasts, he admitted he lost $1 million in a syndication already.
Who? Jamil?
Oh,
Jamil.
damn you.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't feel so bad because he makes $385,000 a week.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just how it
Yes, who
goes.
makes that much?
If you go on Saturdays and usually they post the new members in Astro Elite, there's usually 25 to 30 new members every single week. Now, it's $8,000 to get into that group. So you multiply conservatively 20 by 8,000.
Yeah.
The problem is this. I mean, we all agree upon this. I know that you do, and some of your family's members do. Karma. Good karma will transcend good karma. When you do bad karma, you will get a little bit of bad karma. Even if you start making money, you still will have bad karma. If you were doing something that's wrong.
And a minimum of 20 new students, and that would be a minimum for what I've seen over the last several months of Saturdays. It's $160,000. 8,000 times 160,000.
Yep. And they're coaching. What they're not doing is they're not teaching, they're coaching. That's what they have to say is they're coaching.
That's 160,000 a week.
And then he has the Keegley franchises. Don't forget that. They pay him too, royalty and everything else.
And the question is, if Keegley is doing so well, why do I get an email or a phone call once a week from the different Keegley people trying to get
I
deals?
do too. Are you interested in buying Keegley? And I'd be like, no.
Because it's hard to run. It's not 72 sold. It's not Zillow. They don't have that kind of capital. Not yet.
That's what I'm saying is a limited number of deals because inventory is historically low because people are not going to give up 3% mortgage rates to move into a 7% mortgage rate. That's affecting everybody.
Well, here's what I got from a lecture from a sub-2 student. It's hard because Astro students comp different than sub-2 people.
Yeah.
They just do. They have to comp they comp differently. They comp based on just like you would when you buy a home. If everybody on here's bought a home, you buy a home, you get a appraiser out there. They run comparables. They give you the little papers. It's 5 sheets, and it shows the comparisons. And when you're just comparing the highest ARV in the area, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for sub-2. It works for wholesaling, but it doesn't work for sub-2.
Keep in mind, it's 2 different exit strategies.
It's 2 different extra.
Wholesaling, you need to know the value of the property so that your cash buyer knows what their margin is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's say I'm doing it. That's a wholesale deal. Now let's say I'm doing a subject to deal, and my exit strategy is either Section 8, and an average Section 8 stays in the house 7 to 9 years, or I'm going to pad split it, and I plan on holding that property for 10 years. Why would I care what it's worth today? I care what it's going to be worth 10 years from now. And if we go back to this chart, when the crash happens, couldn't care less.
Yep.
10 years later, we're gonna start the chart all over again. And
Ready
again,
for the long haul.
all you gotta do is go back and look at the historical data that I post on all the different cities that I track. It's just the same graph.
Yep,
It's been happening since they invented the Federal Reserve back in 1912.
it makes so much sense now. It makes so much sense. And I'm starting to see that I have to make these mistakes in order to gain this knowledge. I have to get these lectures in order to get these. I do. I'll be honest. I mean, I don't think I know a whole lot of stuff, but I have to get these lectures because I need to fix these problems that I get myself into. Thank God it hasn't been a financial debacle yet, but I like it. I like learning.
And like I said, I started out this call tonight with, I've had something happen to me that's never happened before. A seller that refused to close.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the part that I left out, my sub 2 community buyer sent an email canceling 30 minutes before the seller called up the title company canceling.
Why don't you just go get a Ron LeGrand community member like you used to? Because I know you know some people in there.
Well, I'm not involved in his community, and he's teaching lease options now.
Yeah,
He's teaching what?
Lease
lease
options.
options.
ESO.
The difference
Lease.
between a lease option and a subject to deal, the lease option, you don't control the deed. The seller still controls the deed.
Oh, okay. So
And you
that's
make the payment to the seller, and then the seller makes the payment to the bank.
right.
With subject to, we get the deed and we make the payment directly to the bank.
Okay, so that's a better
The lease
deal.
option, if that seller flakes out on you, your deal is screwed.
Right.
That's why you have to kiss butt sometimes.
And
I think you have to kiss butt on both parts because it can backfire either way as long as you're transparent with these people. Like, hey, this is it. This is what has to happen.
the way this subject to works is transparency, disclosure, and do what you say you're going to do. You're going to make the payments, make the payments.
I love it. So good.
And then it works. If you make the payments, the banks will never, ever call a deal due.
This was such a good talk today, guys. God damn, that was good. Sorry, but it was good.
Hey guys, I don't want to pretend that I'm some guru that knows everything. I make mistakes like everybody else. I learn from them. I adjust my paperwork. I move on.
Yep. Okay, guys, I gotta go. I have a training at 8 o'clock to with some money guys who are willing to fund new Airbnb startups. They're giving up to $35,000. So I want to do that training.
Very nice.
You know, it's a free webinar. So I definitely want to attend that and hopefully be able to get some money out of them.
I'm not an Airbnb person, but whatever you learn, bring it back to the group.
Sure. So because I'm looking also into arbitrage rental Airbnb. I know some people who do it, and they sent me a list of apartments in Houston that let you sublease and do Airbnb in there.
Well, whatever you do, don't do any Airbnbs in New York City.
No, never.
New York City just came down hard on Airbnb.
Very hard.
I
Like,
did it here too in Scottsdale.
So
Yeah.
I will talk to you guys next week.
see you, Farrell.
See you. Bye-bye.
If you and I don't talk about Olivia, once she gets
Oh, we'll definitely talk about Olivia.
Okay.
Okay, talk to you. Bye.
Hey, Carol, you there?
I am.
I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to talk to you today, but on our making deal, that the mortgage company backed out.
The mortgage company backed out.
It's all right. I found a new, better guy on Saturday.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll talk about it some more later then.
Yeah, but I just didn't have a chance to call you today.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Okay.
But, yeah, I went with a better guy that,
Uh-huh.
a better, more reputable guy.
Bottom, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you can, all you can do is do what you can. And the one doesn't work, you go on to the next one, right?
Exactly right.
Right, exactly, right.
Like
So
John,
I'm
John
working,
Coo-
I'm working.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working. I think I had 3 people that asked for loans, and I've gone through the paperwork with 3 of them. They're in the works right now. One of them decided to use their own TC and pay for it themselves. So that one day I called me yesterday and they said, what's your LLC, what's your wire information, et cetera, and the TC is putting the paperwork together. I haven't seen the contract yet for me to sign, but they were asking me questions, what to put on the paperwork is, et cetera. So that's going through, and I'm waiting on 2 more for some documentation to come in so I can finalize that. So I did work on 3 of them. And the one that I worked on maybe 3 weeks ago, I told you guys about the hard money for the 2.5. I finally got an email back from Alpha Gator Funding, saying that it looks like it's gonna go through. They told the guy to go ahead and fill in the application now because they're going back and forth talking and sending spreadsheet for each property. They looked at all the properties, and the email says, okay, it looks like it's gonna go through. Go and actually fill in the application now. We're gonna go do the underwriting. So that's after 3 weeks. So it takes a while for the hard money to go through. Plus, it's a lot of money. So crossing my fingers that when he does the application after they've talked to him and everything, so I'm hoping it'll go through. They won't find any stumbling block, but it's a long process. But I finally heard back from them, so that's what it is. I don't know what the payment plan is for them as to how I get paid of that because I missed that Zoom. But I guess I'll find out if and when it gets to the process. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. So we'll wait and see what happens. But it is slowly going through after 3 weeks. So I'll see what happens. That's my first hard money. So I'll just wait and see what happens. That's it.
Connecting people.
Pardon me?
Connecting people. That's what you do.
Yep, connect to people. And I did talk to Farah about that same one that you guys talking about. So when she connects it, then she'll talk to me about whatever the EMD is gonna be later on.
Oh, you're talking about the Grimaldi deal.
Yeah, that's true.
The Idlewild. Yeah. Okay.
Right. But she's working on it, so if and when it gets her.
All these
So,
things
yeah.
are a team effort.
Right, Tina, yeah. Right. So yeah, we just pushed through and I go to lots of Zooms. Joe, I sent you one today. You probably didn't get on it.
Did you text me?
I think no, I forwarded an email. I was late. I was already in the deal. It was
Oh, okay.
due diligence with Wes and Melissa.
Oh, okay. I'll look at it.
Yeah,
I've been working on a couple of things also myself for Gator.
yeah.
And so I got one under contract at the moment. And then I've got another 2 that I'm working on right now.
Okay, wonderful.
And so I haven't checked my regular email, my other side of the business.
Yeah. That for the due diligence, they're saying we should come up with a borrower's what is it called, a borrower's box or something, so we can fill in some of the questions we need to ask the borrowers and do a lot of due diligence that they're actually able to pay you back, the cross collateral and all that stuff, some insurance and all that stuff. And promising they know what the loan won't do. So
That's
it's a
for
lot of
PML.
yeah, it's a lot of stuff that now you have to ask the borrowers. They can't just say they want to. They can't say they don't want to borrow it, then they have a contract. It's a lot more stuff you have to ask them to make sure they're able to pay you back. So I'm coming up with a borrower's box where I have to a borrower's package as to what the questions I'm going to ask. And sometimes you get to go to the personal side to say, how are you going to do this? What do you have in case this doesn't work through? How are we going to get paid? That sort of stuff. So I'm trying to get some questions to fill it up and have a form that when they ask me for money, I can send them this form and say, fill it out. And then from there, I can get information what I need to do my vetting process before I actually go see a lender. So that's what I'm working on. I like a Google form where they can fill it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as I work on it, Joe, I'll send it your way. Say you can look at it and see what I miss, or what you can add.
Okay. Yeah, that
Alright.
sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, okay. But that's what I'm working on, my 3 offers and waiting for 2 more. That's it.
Excellent.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah. And you had a short week last week, so.
Yes, short week. And I'm still working my W-2, so yes.
Really?
Yeah, even though it goes away this September because I was on I'm a government contract to work with NASA, and the contract ends in September, and they're not renewing the contract with the company I work with. So either I find another contract to be on, or I better buckle down and do this real estate stuff for the end of the year.
What do you do?
I'm a financial analyst.
Oh, wow, that makes sense.
Yeah, I work with numbers, so hopefully if I don't get picked up, I'm looking, but I'm not looking too hard because I have a lot of things I have to do in November. My mom is moving from Alabama back to Maryland. She's 92. So I have to find a senior's apartment and I have to go get it, move her stuff from Alabama. So I'm gonna need that time to go down and pack and all that stuff. So
Sure.
if I'm looking for something remote, but if I don't, then I'm just doing real estate until January. See if I want to go back to a W-2. So I'm getting to that point that I don't want to go back in the W-2 after this unless I have to. I want to just concentrate on this real estate stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. But as of September 30, I'm out for W-2.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm hoping I'll look in January. I want to finish the rest of the year trying to get my mom moved and get into this real estate full time to see if I really, really, really cut out for this. So that's what I'm gonna do. So come October, I'll have more time.
Yeah.
My report should be better. I did this much deal because I'll have some time.
And you know, the thing about the Section 8 project that we're working on,
Yeah.
what I'm learning is
Uh-huh.
it's much easier to do these deals when you can show that you own other Section 8.
Right. So get the first one on our belt and then we can go from there.
Yeah. Everybody will look at you with one good eye like, you really know what you're doing.
Yeah, I do. I got one. Sort of.
With this new company, that's what I've got to do later on tonight is put together their requirements. But bottom line is they're going to be looking at, you know, how many deals I've done. I've got a credibility package I'll send to them.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if we don't have it, we have to hook up with somebody who has it, and so we're partnering with somebody who has that experience. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's it. So that's it for me, Joe.
So great talking to you. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Alexis, what are you doing?
Alexis probably driving. He's the one that drives.
He's absolutely driving somewhere.
What's up?
All right, man. Where are you driving to?
Texas.
Same place.
I just have fun answering.
I was not on the call last week. It was Labor Day. I didn't work.
I don't think anybody was on.
Oh, yeah, I waited for 20 minutes and I'm like, nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody showed up? Okay.
I
I don't feel as bad then.
I was traveling back from Toronto.
Yeah, man. I took the time off last Monday. I did a little bit of calls, but some agents weren't answering. And then the next day they were like, "Oh yeah, it's because it was Labor Day. I wanted to step out from work completely." So, I mean, I still put in some work though on the real estate side.
But listen to what he's saying. Realtors think they have a job.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends, right? There's some that actually are doing deals.
Yeah.
Probably doing it full time. But yeah, man, I mean, I was listening to the conversation, you know, even though I had my camera off, but yeah, man, actually just last week I followed up with an agent and he's like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna be doing real estate no more." I was like, man, that sucks. That sucks because even the first time that I connected with him earlier in the year, like just from our conversations, it sounded like he was not having a lot of like deal flow. When he finally closed on the property, I called him to congratulate him and follow up, and he was like, "Ah, man, like finally, you know, like I finally got one." So it's rough. I've had other agents too that told me like, "Ah, man, it looks dry. It's dry out there. There's no deals." But I mean, I don't let it discourage me because, I mean, there's other agents that actually bring stuff. So it's just, some people have it rougher than others.
And,
But it's happening.
and here's what's happening. Anybody that's been in the business for less than 10 years only knows an up market. They think that real estate is get a listing, put it on the MLS, and within 24 to 48 hours, they've got 5 or 6 offers above list. That is not real estate. Now the market is tight. They got to be on the phone 6 hours a day, calling and calling and calling. And the thing about it is, Kathleen, my agent over in Winter Park, Florida, she spends 2 hours every day in her farm area, walking neighborhoods, handing out, property valuations for each individual house. And on the back of it, on the bottom, it's got her contact information. On the back, it talks about what she is as a realtor. She started doing it in January, and now she's a top listing agent because people that want to sell keep that information, and they're going to call her because they trust her. Agents and she's like 1 out of 100 that do that. The other 99 are not going to have real estate licenses because when people got to sell or want to sell or whatever, they're calling Kathleen first. But that's because she does the same thing at least 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's not calling people on the phone. It's walking up, knocking on doors, introducing herself, handing them a flyer, giving them value for nothing.
Yep.
And the agents that are not doing that are not going to have licenses. What's worked for 100 years still works, but it's hard, especially when it's 95 degrees outside.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I've talked to other agents, that they do real estate on the side. And man, I'm pretty sure if they weren't doing the other jobs, they'd probably be giving up their licenses too.
And again, 80% of the deals are done by 20% of the realtors.
Yeah, man. I guess it's a hustle for them too, and not just for us.
Yeah. And a broken watch is right twice a day.
Oh, man, I've never heard that analogy before, man. But I mean, I'm still working at it. Actually, I need to get with my sub two guy that I'm working with. We were supposed to lock up a property subject to, and it's in the outside of Dallas. It's probably like maybe 30 minutes south or something. I drive by there every day. Like I'm gonna pass by tonight, and then I'll be driving by it tomorrow morning. That's actually that's the city where I stayed at when I went to get my CDL, and the company paid for the hotel and everything. I stayed there, and I got to see the neighborhoods. And man, it's a nice neighborhood, man. It's outside of Dallas, but it's nice. But he was telling me that the numbers were not good for long-term rental or short-term rental. So I told him about, the possibility of maybe you being interested in it or pad split, if it makes sense. And but last I spoke with him, he hadn't locked it up yet because he was trying to explore the options first. And I'm gonna catch up with him today to see if he locked it up and if he's still looking for a buyer for it.
What's the key? What's the one thing that'll kill a pad split exit? HOA.
Honestly, I don't remember.
HOA.
HOA.
Can't have an HOA.
Can't have HOA.
Yep, can't have an HOA.
That's a big one because I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I'm not sure if it's a nice neighborhood. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's a nice neighborhood, they might have an HOA. If they got an HOA, that kills the deal. HOAs, sometimes they have to approve all of the tenants. Never going to be able to do that with pad split. And then they have all kinds of crazy rules and stuff like that with cars in the parking lot. So yeah, HOAs kill pad split exits.
Got it. Okay,
Just, I'm
that makes
trying to solve that problem before you guys get all excited and lock it up, and then I'll find out, ugh, yeah, you're right, you can't do a long-term rental on this.
okay. That's good. That's good to know because it's because I don't remember if it's that one or we were working on another that we should have had locked up too. So I'm gonna see how it works. I did the negotiation. I got the I submitted the offer. I called the listing. He just gave me the numbers, and we're supposed to lock it up. So I gotta see how that went, and I gotta see which one is the one that has the HOA. But if it's the sub two one, then for sure I wouldn't even bring it up to you again. If anything, he said he might just sell it on a wrap. That's about it.
And what's the difference?
So yes,
What's the difference between a wrap and a sub two?
the difference is that, well, I mean, on a sub two, you're still kind of liable for the property, but on a wrap, you're selling it to the buyer.
On a sub two, you have control of the deed because you own the deed. On a wrap, the seller still owns the deed.
But when you say the seller, you mean the first seller, or are you talking about the wrap buyer?
Right. With a subject to, you're taking over payments, you're taking over you're getting the deed and you're making payments on the mortgage.
Yeah.
With a wrap, the existing mortgage stays in place and you wrap another mortgage at a higher amount over it. So you're
Yeah.
paying the wrap, and then the wrap pays the underlying mortgage.
Yeah. But we still take control of the deed, right? Until the wrap is paid off, or whatever the wrap buyer does.
I guess you can do it both ways. I've never seen it where the seller gave up the deed, but you could.
Oh, okay. Okay, he takes care of that. I pretty much just get a wholesale fee for
Yeah.
locking them up.
See, I'm just a
Yeah,
little bit, I would prefer to control the property. And the only way you control the property is by owning the deed.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah, that sounds like a way better idea, man.
Because people do crazy stuff. And, things can be perfect in that seller's life today, and 5 years from now, they freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really trust them that good.
It's not that you can't trust them. It's just that by getting control of the property, you eliminate the chance of those future problems.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something that I gotta keep in mind for the future, because I mean, I'm just doing wholesale right now, but eventually, I want to get into the game myself and own stuff. So,
Yep.
So I'm learning along the way. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm working on some regular wholesale deals, for cash buyers, some prospects, and yeah, man, it's going all right. It's going all right. I mean, as long as I lock these up and get a fee out of them, I mean, I think it's gonna be a good month or next couple months, because I know creative stuff takes a little bit longer to close, to negotiate, to marinate. But I got time, man. I still got my job, so everything's good.
Let me ask you a question. How big is your buyers list?
Not very big, man. Not very big.
Let me head you off the pass. If you're still doing wholesaling, you got to have a big buyers list. You got to stay in touch with your buyers as much as you talk to your sellers.
Okay, that's a good one, because I'm actually not keeping in touch, so I gotta do that. Actually, I hit up one buyer just last week, and I asked her, about how much does she want to profit, where she wants to buy, or where, whatever, like details. And she was just like, as long as I can profit at least 30K on a flip, that's all I care about. So I mean, that at least gives me a margin with
And-
her.
and-
But
And keep in mind that in a hot market, you can go, oh, I want to make 30K in a flip. In a down market, if I can make $5,000 and keep my business open, I'll do that deal.
do you think we're in a down market at that point right now?
We're absolutely in a down market. Inventories at historic lows, mortgage applications at historic lows.
That's odd, man.
Eventually this bubble's gonna pop. I can't tell you and I tell this to everybody all the time. In Florida, I can't tell you when we're gonna have hurricanes, but I can tell you we're gonna have hurricanes.
Oh yeah.
I can't tell you when this market's gonna pop, but it's gonna pop.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very odd market, man. Low inventory and low amount of buyers. That's a very, very bad combination.
And the thing about it is, and this is just my speculation, that the market will probably pop sometime around next October. So whoever gets in office next in the White House will get the blame.
Do you think, I mean, I know you don't like to talk politics, but I'm not gonna say too much about politics, but do you think, because I've heard from a couple people say that come election time, that mortgage rates might drop just to kind of like the government will, whoever's in office, which is, I mean, of course, Joe Biden, they'll try to make it seem like they're fixing the economy and they'll lower mortgage rates or interest rates just to make it seem like they're doing something for the economy.
If you notice, I didn't mention either most likely candidate. I said the next person that's in office, whether it's a brand new guy or reelected, that's the person that's going to get the blame. Because make no mistake about it, the president of the United States does not run this country. The bankers run the country.
Oof. Yeah, true.
So that being, I mean, that's not a political conversation. That's an economic conversation. And I just feel with all the data that I track every day that, yeah, the next guy is going to get the blame for it.
Oh man. I mean, as long as it's a good thing for some of us, I know that there's always the good side of down of a bad situation, just like in COVID. A lot of people got rich.
That's why if you look at the emails that invite everybody to this Zoom call, at the bottom, it's a quote from Baron Rothschild. You know, buy when there's blood in the street, even if it's your own blood. The next 4.5 years are going to make billionaires. And the reason why is because most people don't know how to make money when the market's going down.
I'm pretty sure familiar with Brandon Turner he used to be in Bigger Pockets, the guy with the long beard.
Okay.
Brandon Turner, Beardy Brandon. That's what he had a live, and he never does live like since he's been out of Bigger Pockets. But he was talking about how this is actually a good time for newbies to get in, because if you learn how to invest in a down market, then when things go up, you know, like you're gonna be ready to rock. You're gonna kill it when the market goes back up.
Let me ask you, when are the 2 best times to invest in real estate?
I mean, from Brent Daniels, it was yesterday and today.
5 years, that's what I was gonna say. 5 years ago and today. Because 5 years from now, you're gonna look at it and like, wow, look what just happened.
Yeah. Yeah, man, a lot of things change in 5 minutes. Sometimes I think about my life 5 years ago, and yeah, my life is way, way different.
You got kids, don't you?
Everybody's life. Yeah, I got kids, yes.
You know, if you want to get an idea how fast time goes by, watch somebody with kids.
Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding. Did you have kids, Mike?
I do
Have
not.
you had kids?
I do not.
You-
Nope, I
No.
don't. Nope. I'm Catholic. I really believe that stuff, and I just never found the right girl. And unfortunately, by the time I got into my mid-30s, the only ones that were available are divorcees, and that's just a no-no. Like my current girlfriend, who I've been with for 8 years now, believe it or not, she's divorced.
Hmm.
She's my age, and she's like, "Do you want to get married?" I'm like, "Hey, you want to have kids?" She's like, "No." And what's the point of getting married?
And did she have kids though?
Yeah, she got 2 of them. One just turned 30, believe it or
Wow.
not. Her other son, or her son, Josh, is pretty cool. He goes mudding with me when we go down to the mud park. Which, by the way,
That's good, man.
you guys are all invited to come to the Redneck Mud Park in November.
In Florida?
Yeah, good. Let's go out, camp in the woods, ride some 4-wheelers through some mud. You're gonna have a blast.
November, you said?
Oh yeah, you'll see me covered head to toe in mud. It's the best three days in the woods you're ever gonna spend. And I'm telling you what, this place probably gets 7,000 or 8,000 people, and you'll see a $500,000 RV pulling $100,000 mud buggy.
$100,000 for a mud buggy?
Oh yeah, and then all the toys that go with it. I mean, they'll have the $100,000 mud buggy, and then they'll have a side by side, and they'll have 4-wheelers, and then they got like a $40,000 trailer that pulls all that stuff. Oh yeah, there's easily, and you go down these roads, and they're parked one after another. I'm like, there's got to be $300 million worth of toys.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun.
Hey, well, if I close some deals before then, I'll make the trip.
Oh,
'Cause I
dude,
know my son wants to go camping, and I haven't had the chance.
dude, I get an extra 150 grand that I got nothing to do with. I'm getting myself a mud buggy.
I'll wait for the pictures, Mike. I'll wait for the pictures.
Don't get me wrong, I do some highbrow stuff too, but I also do some redneck stuff.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
So you consider yourself a part redneck then, Mike?
Oh,
I don't really
absolutely.
know too much about your background.
No, I grew up at a farm. Yeah,
In
I'm
Florida?
up in Buffalo, New York, actually. Yeah, the little small town I'm from, Java Lake, New York. Total population of 50 people.
Oh,
50. Yeah, my graduating high school class was 147.
147.
Total
So
senior.
everybody knew each other then.
Oh, are you kidding me? Everybody was related to everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
My graduating class was 42 people.
But and there you go.
I grew up in the country down here too, in Southwest Texas.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, but I grew up milking cows and baling hay and working on lumber mills, and then I went off to college.
And then you never went back?
No.
I bet,
I'd
man,
rather
after
work.
seeing-
I'd rather work with this than these.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man. I didn't get a lot of hard labor, but I got some. Because I grew up with when I grew up, I only lived with my uncle for like maybe 3.5 years, but he did construction work. And every summer, man, all summer long, it was going out there to the construction site and helping out. And this Texas heat, I mean, you live in Florida, so you get pretty bad heat over there too. So
Oh yeah.
working construction is no joke. And I told myself, I was like, man, I don't know. I mean, no, nothing against my uncle. You know, he has a profitable business. He doesn't have to be at the job sites anymore if he doesn't want to. He makes good money, build something for himself. But I told myself I did not want to do that. So I get you.
Hey guys, in the chat, I just put in a link to the Redneck Mud Park.
All right, I gotta say that.
Yeah, you gotta save that and check that out.
All right.
3 days of just
All right.
uninhibited fun.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm
Yeah.
gonna check it out because I really do want to go camping. But yeah, man, I'll keep you guys updated next week to see what happened with these deals. Man, got some good stuff. So hopefully everything goes good. And I mean, I'm still calling agents, calling listings. I did not get any offers out today. That was my mistake. I should have worked yesterday on getting set up for today. But I was out. I was at the beach with my family, and I just had no time. So,
But it's amazing. It's
That's all.
amazing. It's amazing when you got that time box and you're like, I got, my goal is 5 a day. And then you start to realize how hard it is to get out 5 a day.
yeah.
Consistently, not once, every day. And that's why I bit the bullet, and that's why I Farah and I hired Olivia, is because that's where I fall down. I get pulled in 3 different directions, and all of a sudden I didn't make any phone calls.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I need to make sure I get on the ball.
And the thing about it is,
I can't really hire a VA right now,
but that's
ahead.
even if you only had somebody calling 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day would cost you $30 a week. Stop buying Starbucks.
Yep.
I.e., Starbucks coffee is like $5.
It's actually more expensive.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you give up, if you're drinking one $5 Starbucks every day, or one, I mean, I'm sure your kids would hate you, but turn off your cable.
Yeah. Oh, dude, no kidding.
But what I'm saying is, if you can only afford 1 hour a day, I'm sure that we could, talk to Olivia and she could work for you 1 hour a day, or get another cold caller that will work for you 1 hour a day. Because the other thing you're doing is you're transitioning from working in your business to working on your business.
Yeah, which is the ultimate goal for sure.
Exactly. Because
For sure.
after I got consistent leads coming in, then the next person is a Dispo person. And then also, the other members of the team are somebody that will trust you enough to be able to lend you your EMDs and your short term. If you got a subject-to deal and you need to come up with $12,000 in arrears, they're going to lend you the 12 grand in the second position. And they know that they know what your exits are, and then they're gonna get cashed out. And then the other person you need on your team is you need a good mortgage broker. The one that just quit on Friday, I thought Joe Cruz was going to be that guy for us, flaked out. This other deal I got making, that guy flaked out. Next guy flaked out. Talked to a couple other people on Saturday, and I told him what the situation was. He goes, nope, we don't need to do a DSCR first. And I'm not going to be able to do a bridge for you because it's too low. But what we can do is we can do a rehab. Except you're going to, my rehab budget on this deal was going to be like $3 grand, like $400 for landscaping and $2,200 for internal paint. He's like, that number needs to be about 10 grand. I'm like, well, the property doesn't need 10 grand. He said, just because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it. And then once we use that rehab loan to acquire the property, we wait 90 days because that's what the DSCR requires. And then we move into a DSCR, which is easier to qualify for because we already own it. And the DSCR only loans on the purchase price. Once we own it, then it's based off of the appraisal.
Okay.
So if I've got a purchase price of 60,000, a DSCR can only loan 45. But the property is worth 110. So we do a rehab, which is based on the ARV, which gets us in the property. We set aside a $10,000 budget, which I'm never going to use it all because it's already turnkey. We just do the landscaping, we do the internal paint, which will actually bump the appraisal up to 130. And now the DSCR is going to be based off of the 130 because it's not a purchase, it's a refi, and that's going to get us, probably around $80,000 or $90,000. Which, by the way, the VASH Section 8 will cover that debt service. But
And with that extra money that you don't use, what do you do with it? I mean, I know you probably use it for more investment.
no, you just don't use the money.
You just
So, I mean,
you just keep it as gains.
Yeah. See, the thing about it is when you're doing a rehab loan, they're going to give it to you in tranches. So, I'm going to get a guy to come in and do the landscaping. They're going to say, all right, fine. How much did that cost? $400. They give you $400. You pay them off. All right. So then my painter goes in there, $2,200. How much do you need? $2,200. Well, your budget's 10 grand. So you're only going to use 3,000 of the 10,000 that you set aside. But the reason you made it 10,000 is so you could qualify for the mortgage, for the rehab loan.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's the point. I just described you all the details. I did not come up with that plan. The mortgage broker did. So I went to him and I said, here's the property, here's the condition, here's the value, here's my contract. How do we finance this? That is a good team plan.
Nice.
So in other words,
But,
what I'm telling you is the different people you need on your team.
Yeah.
And the last three mortgage guys, John Cruz and the other guy, those guys were not problem solvers. This guy is a problem solver. And I already told him that I do a Zoom on Monday nights with some sharp people. And he said, I'd love to come on and talk to him. I'm going to interview him like I did John Cruz first to find, and also I'm not going to bring anybody on here until I've actually done a deal with them, so that we don't have a repeat of the John Cruz incident. But that's what I'm saying is, and what you're seeing is how I'm building out a team, because I know I can't do all the jobs. Can't do it.
Right.
Of course. And so I just wanted to be clear. So for these type of property or these investments, you only want properties that have 3 bedrooms and up, right? Because I've come across some 2 bedrooms that
really,
are under 100.
Really, it's 2 bedrooms and 1,500 square feet. It's easy to add bedrooms. For pad split, it's easy to add bedrooms, but it really comes down to bathrooms and you need the square footage.
Okay.
So 2 bathrooms and in 1,500 square feet, you can add 2 more bedrooms. Cheap. That's just walls and air conditioning and electric.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me.
And by the way, where did that come from? That came from my pad split representative. And she's also one that said HOAs kill pad split. And she owns 5 of them. So.
Okay. Alrighty, I'm gonna gather the ones that I saw, but I just wasn't sure if they would be good fits, and I'm gonna send them to you.
Yeah.
Because I saved like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think some of them might be like 3-1, another one 2-1, and the other one probably 3-1 as well, or 2-1. So I'll send them to you, and you tell me what you think.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, what they told me is you don't want to go more than 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
No more than that.
Yeah. So bottom line is, if you got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you add 2 more bedrooms, you're at a 5-2. You could go as high as a 6-2. You know what I mean? But you don't want to go more than 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
Okay.
But that's why you need the square footage to be able to make that happen. And basically, the square footage comes from the living room and the dining room. That's what gets converted into new bedrooms.
So the deal breaker would be if it doesn't meet the 1,500 square feet, that would be the deal breaker.
Yeah.
Primarily.
And the reason why is you just don't have enough room to put in enough bedrooms to make a cash flow.
Okay, and I mean, you said HOA kills it as well?
Right, because
And
the HOA will want to approve of all of your tenants sometimes, or they got crazy rules like you can't have more than 2 cars in a in a driveway.
yeah, HOA is very inconvenient, man. I don't know who came up with HOA, period. You know, I mean, even if I were to be in my own like house to live in, I would not want to have HOA now.
See, the
I
thing about
just,
it is you're in a different period in your life. Older people, and I believe it or not, I'm getting to be an older person. But older people, you know, they don't like change. So they want to move into communities where nothing changes.
Yeah, and you can blame your counties for HOAs and your cities. They don't want to take up the cost that it takes to run a new community. So they pass that on to the homeowners.
yeah,
Yep.
man. Actually, I saw a property on the MLS, and it's a good fit for a sub 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on the seller situation, right? But it seems like a good sub 2. But I called the realtor and she's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know if you're thinking of using it as a rental, the HOA reached the limit of houses that can be rented in that neighborhood. So this house, if you buy it, you cannot rent it out. There's already too many rentals in that area."
But
So,
but they're long-term rentals, right?
I didn't even ask. So after she told me that, I was like, wow.
The thing about it is a pad split is so new that nobody knows about it.
True. I brought it up to a couple agents, and yeah, they don't know what that is. I didn't know what that was until I met you.
And I learned about it from Pace like a month ago.
So that means that sub 2 community probably barely also is getting into it, right?
And Pad Split is a company that's less than 2 years old. And you know, the funny thing was I forgot who I was talking to, but she's like, yeah, oh no, it was my agent, my really great agent. It's over in Orlando, Kathleen. She said, I was telling her that I was looking for this type of property for Pad Split, told her what it was, and she said that'd be perfect for my girlfriend. She just got divorced. She's a teacher, and she just moved here from like Illinois or something, and she's making, like in Illinois, she was making like 80 grand a year. In Florida pays her teachers crap. She's making like 40 grand a year and can't afford to buy a house. So,
40 grand a year.
She's divorced. She doesn't have any kids, and she's making half of what she's used to making. So she's like, Pad Split would be perfect for my and that's what their whole marketing plan is for, you know, the people that, you know, have steady career jobs, but houses are now so expensive. You could be middle class now and not be able to afford a house.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what Pad Split has done is they're marketing to that group of people that want to have a nice, safe house, but they don't really care about having a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house like I have for one person. Now, it's different for me because I run a business. I run 3 different businesses out of one of my rooms. But for the majority of people, you know, like your county workers, firefighters, believe it or not, cops don't make a lot of money. You know, teachers don't make a lot of money. Those are the people that are the ones that are looking for pad splits. And the last time I talked to my rep, she's like, yeah, we've got more applicants than houses.
That's good. I mean, that's good for us, because if we find one, then
yeah,
then we can
but
do
the, but the thing about it is, try to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house with a 7 or 8% mortgage. Even pad split can't make it work. That's why converting sub 2s that are anything less than 6%, it actually, the numbers still work.
Okay. Alrighty. And you said the neighborhood type doesn't really matter, right? It can be A, B, or C.
No, C neighborhood.
A's, C neighborhoods.
A's are gated communities. B's are nice neighborhoods with HOAs. C's are safe working class neighborhoods. And these are war zones. And what do we mean by a war zone is when you go check out the crime statistics, somebody got shot there in the last 3 months.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Jesus, look at Chicago. I mean, it's in the news every weekend, man. Friggin' 40 or 50 people get shot in Chicago every friggin' weekend.
Isn't it the same thing over there in Detroit?
Probably. Chicago just makes the news.
Yeah, man.
I can tell you it don't happen in Polk County, though. You pull a gun out and the sheriff shows up, you're going to be dead in Polk County. Our sheriff ain't not playing. We just had a guy last week pull a cop on a gun or pull a cop on a sheriff. Dead bad guy.
Okay.
Brady Judd gets on television and said, don't do that. We'll put
Yeah,
you
I mean,
he's like, we'll put you in the grave.
it sucks for that guy, but it sends out a message to everybody.
Made the mistake of pulling a cop on a sheriff.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah, nah.
it makes people think,
Nah.
don't pull a gun on a cop.
Yeah, man, I would not. Yeah, here in Texas is the same thing, man. You pull out a gun and it's over.
Yeah.
It's a shootout.
When I went through, now we don't need conceal and carry license license anymore in Florida. The new thing since July 1st. But when I was going through my conceal and carry permit training, my instructor's like, never, ever, 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 ever take that out of its holster. And if you do, somebody better be dead or shot a lot.
That's really what they advise you.
Seriously, the instructor, never, ever, ever take it out of your holster because if you do, somebody's going to get shot. That's the only time you take it out of the holster.
That's
And again, why are we talking about this? Not a political thing. This is tough neighborhoods. This is, I mean, this is, you don't see it as much in Florida because everybody's from somewhere else, but you go into these bigger northern cities, you go into ghettos, bad things can happen.
yeah, some parts of South Dallas are. I mean, I don't know. I don't stay in Dallas enough to know about what happens in the news, but I know it's pretty dangerous in the South.
I don't mean to pick on
Dallas.
I don't mean to pick on Southern California, but Bloods and the Crips are a real thing.
Yeah, that's true, man.
And again, this isn't, we're just talking about what is a D neighborhood. You look at the crime statistics, anybody's been shot in that neighborhood, in the last 3 months, it's a D neighborhood.
Makes sense, then.
So, and I heard when I heard the guy, an interview with the guy that started Pad Split. What's a C neighborhood? A C neighborhood is where you feel comfortable having your wife drive through that neighborhood at night. If your wife doesn't feel comfortable driving through a neighborhood, it is a D neighborhood.
All right. Okay. So only C neighborhoods.
Only seen it for pad splits.
Yeah.
And pretty much the same thing goes for Section 8 as well.
For Section 8, okay, no, yeah. No, never mind. Okay. All righty, man. I'll keep you for sure in mind. For whenever I lock up more seller financing, because I know you said you also buy seller finance deals.
Yeah.
So
if it's not crazy, like
so if I come across it,
yeah, if it's not crazy, like I want $65,000 down and 12% interest with a balloon at 5 years.
yeah, man. Since I'm working with this sub 2 guy, he knows, there's a limit to how much we can give down and how much interest.
Seller financing or sub 2, use PACE's 10% rule. The most amount of cash, including closing costs, is 10%.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's-
including your wholesale fee,
Yeah,
holding costs.
that's a good. So, you know, if it's a $225,000 house, you're looking at $25,000 total cash. That's cash to seller, that's wholesale, and that's closing.
Okay.
It was Sylvan that actually told me that that was one of Pace's rules. And it's kind of like, the more I got thinking about it, that's why I wrote it down and I have it on my thing here. I kind of like that rule.
True. All right. All righty, Mike. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, if you need anything, you know, I'm always here for you guys.
For sure, man. I appreciate all the help. I'll keep you updated, whatever I'm able to lock up.
Cool.
And if I need any help locking something up, then I'll call you up.
Yeah, whatever I can do to help or whatever resources you need.
All righty.
Good talking to you.
All righty, Mike. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll keep you updated next week, man. Thank you.
All right, be good. Joey, you got anything?
No, that was it, you know, great talk today.
All right, cool. Good.
I came back to see what Joe has to say, but nothing, so I'm gonna leave again.
Hi, Carol. Talk soon.
No,
Hey
I
guys,
just,
it was a good one. I learned a lot about pet food and about a lot of stuff, but we'll talk during the week.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Anyway, Joe, I think we're done.
all right, Mike, I will send you the recording right away.
All right, talk soon.
Talk soon.
Bye, guys.
See you, Alexis.
Bye, Alexis.